Welcome to huevoicesdotcom, the great reflection of you. I'm here with Amber Mimz, straight out of the district. How you doing today, Miss Mimz?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm all right. You've been on the scene, making some noise. You on a rise. But tell the people, how did you get started in the music business as a vocalist?
Wow. I got started actually. I was in school in New York at the New School, and that's actually kind of where I got my start in terms of performing and professionally gigging. So it kind of started. I just started writing actually with a couple of friends, just trying things out in the studio and things like that. And it's very weird because it kind of came like really sort of naturally to me in terms of just like actually even booking shows and talking to different managers and club owners and things like that, just to try to get my foot in the door. So that's where it started in New York.
Oh wow! And how'd you make your way down to the DMV?
Well, I'm from DC, so I came back home after I finished school. I stayed in New York for maybe about a year or so after I finished school, and then just moved back home to DC. And I mean, it was like there was no reason for me to stop just because I moved from New York. So I kind of just picked up where I left off, and strangely enough, things have really been very successful for me since moving back to DC.
I don't have to tell you about the wealth of talent here in the DMV and the happenings around this area. You know, particularly with you coming from New York, and you already know their saying.
Yeah.
But how did you decide to approach, making a name for yourself out here and getting your music out to the masses? What were your method of thought?
Well, initially I didn't know how if I wanted to put something out like a physical CD, an album, or anything like that first, or if I wanted to base it off of a lot of just like live performances. But because of my personality, I've always been the kind of person who is somewhat introverted, so writing always comes naturally to me. Playing piano and like producing and things like that, it was just so much more, so much easier for me to do too. And the way that the internet allows everybody to just be so accessible, it was like, well, why not? It's easy enough for me to push my music through the internet, so let me at least, try that. And from there, it kind of just blossomed. I mean, I definitely did do live shows prior to putting any kind of physical material out, but I think that was kind of what made my name a little bit more coming into people's ears a little bit more just from seeing it on the internet. So.
And that transition, was it easy for you, or was it a little bit challenging? Because the difference when you in your own circle writing, and then to take that on to the road, and particularly stand up in front of a crowd of people and project your art. Was that an easy transition for you?
Wow, was it an easy transition? No, it wasn't easy. Something like that is never really going to be that easy because it's such a personal thing. But it was comfortable, even though it wasn't as easy as I would imagine it to be. I was just like very comfortable performing, strangely enough. I did go to an art school while I was in DC in high school. I went to Duke Ellington, so performing is definitely just like kind of second nature. And if you ever walk the halls of that high school, it's like there's no way you can be shy. So it was kind of just taking the personal thoughts that I had in terms of my writing and things like that, and just being comfortable sharing it. But the performance aspect was nothing. It was never a nervousness for me initially.
Well, it seems that you have accomplished a great deal. Writing, producing. Oh, don't shrink that. Don't shrink those accomplishments. Get on stage and getting your work out there and moving city to city. So my question to you is, what exactly is it that you want? What is the ultimate goal for you?
The ultimate goal for me is to pull up to a car in the most random spot you could think of and hear my music coming out of their speakers. Like, that would be the ultimate goal for me. of course, just like anybody else, I don't want to be broke behind, creating this music. Like, of course, I do it for love initially, but I, want to be able to raise my kids off of it if I ever have kids instead of shoes, because that's pretty much what I would rather do anyway, just buy shoes. But raise my kids off of it, and live very comfortably, and just, I don't know. That's a funny question. Like, nobody's ever really asked me that. I'm glad that you asked me that. It's a great question. I just want to spread my music as far as it can go. I mean, around the world. That's my ultimate goal, really.
Okay. All right. And from my understanding, you're partner up with Greenspan.
Yes.
And which I found was very interesting when I found that out, because I'm not one personally is big on the whole hip hop R&B marriage. Sometimes it could be a little bit redundant to me. So I think now to actually say it has to be done right.
Yeah.
And he's a good artist. I've seen him in action, but I haven't seen too much of you. And my question is, how did that come about? And what do you think will be the key factor to reaching the people with this collaboration?
Well, first, initially, I actually met Greenspan when I was recording my first project, which was the mixtape Thoughts While Getting Dressed, and I was recording at a studio in Maryland with a good friend of mine by the name of Judah, and that's how I met Greenspan, because he actually just was coming by, and Judah was like, you guys should work together, so we kind of just kept in touch ever since. And to answer your second question, as far as the marriage between R&B, is that what you said?
Yes, between you guys coming together and creating something that the people will basically like.
I think the thing about collaborations is they have to be an actual collaborative effort. It can't be just a feature, because a feature is just like, oh, well, I'm doing this and I want you to kind of hop on. But a collaboration will allow the artists that are working together to actually work together. So that's the beautiful thing about Greenspan and I, is that we actually collaborate together. It's not a one-sided kind of thing, or let me come in and do this because it's Amber Mimz, or let me come in and do this because it's Greenspan. Now we actually know each other. We actually sit down and have sessions together and put complete ideas together. Some people, some person, I may come with something or he may come with something, and we combine the two together. But it's definitely a collaborative effort.
All right. Well, and we have to close out, but please tell the people where they can hear your music, where they can get your music, and where they can see you perform. Where's the next stop?
Okay. Well, first, you can check me out at ambermimz.com, AmberMimz.com. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter as the same name, Amber Mimz. You can catch me in D.C. Really, most of the next couple of things I believe have coming up may be on U Street. I'll be performing at the Adidas store. I know I believe that's maybe this weekend, but that's with another collaboration with Bobby MC. And my next couple of solo shows won't be until the new year. So if you go on ambermimz.com, there'll be on the right-hand side, there's a list of shows, so you can catch me at one of those dates, one of those venues.
All right. Thank you for watching huevoicesdotcom, the great reflection of you.